What's going on, everybody? The NFL season is here. Cody with you, Dan with me, and we are going to be talking about Mojobreak's top 10 quarterbacks in the hobby for 2021. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the big rookies, but we decided to really go in depth here. We took the scientific approach. We used 3 different ways to rank the quarterbacks to come up with our top 10 list. Of course, the top 5 rookies, the top 10 quarterbacks overall, and then the top 10 quarterbacks who have the best investment, the best long-term investment in the hobby. So that's how we're breaking it down. If you don't like the list, make your own. This is ours. Here we go. Before we get into our top 10, there were a few guys left off the list, obviously big names. Dan, who is an honorable mention for you?
For the top 10?
That's right. Yeah, somebody
Okay.
you thought maybe should have been in the top 10 that
You
didn't
know,
make our
and
list.
I put him on my top 10, and he wasn't on your guys' list. So I don't want to use somebody that I actually put on there as number 10. I will say who it is. Maybe I'll come up with another one, but Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan was left off the list.
Yeah.
He's had a phenomenal career. At one point, one of the best quarterbacks, if not like a top 3 quarterback. He was on fire. I think he won an MVP.
He was an MVP during the Super Bowl year, yeah.
Matt Ryan was left off your guys' list. I did put him in 10. But honorable mention, who I did not put up there in the top 10, is my guy, Matt Stafford. And I didn't put him up there, and I don't think you guys...
no, I think maybe Doug put him in his top 10. I did not put him in my top 10.
Doug did not. Doug didn't.
Yeah.
Doug didn't put him up there. You didn't put him up there. So I will throw Matt Stafford in there. But Matt Ryan is the guy that I was blown away that it wasn't on your guys' list.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a tough one. I could see maybe for a long-term investment that maybe Matt Ryan, but I also think like he has done I don't see the best days ahead for Matt Ryan, and I probably maybe 2 or 3 more years for Matt Ryan.
Yeah,
at this point?
but at the end of the day, I mean, he very well could be, and he should probably be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And to just leave a Hall of Famer, a future Hall of Famer off the list, I get
fair.
what you're saying. If you buy, but you can buy Matt Ryan right now cheap.
That's true. That is true.
Probably one of the most undervalued quarterbacks in the league. There's like third rounders who may not even ever play who outsell Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
So what about you? Who was your guy who you didn't see on the list?
So my guy that did not make our cumulative top 10 list that I am going to bat for hard. It's going to be a little harder this year because his team is getting so beat up. We talked about it just before we went on air, but Lamar Jackson, to me, is being forgotten about. The guy is only 24 years old. He's already got an MVP. He did regress a little bit last year, but if you look at the numbers, I don't think he regressed as much as we think he did. He had a rough start, but really it was that Cleveland game that really turned his whole season around. He became a different quarterback, looked great down the stretch. I think he is still capable of great things in the NFL. He's only a season removed from being in the best offensive football, not named the Kansas City Chiefs.
Absolutely.
He is a great talent. I think there's also this feeling of we're always looking to the future. We're thinking about, man, if Kyler Murray puts it all together, he'll be this dynamic player. Well, we already see it. Lamar Jackson is already that guy in the NFL. Give some love to him. It's easy to forget him, especially as Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield are starting to gain a lot of steam in the hobby. Don't forget about Lamar Jackson. And in a way, with all these injuries, let's say the Ravens do go to the playoffs. I think that only improves his stock. It means that Lamar Jackson balled out and put the team on his back to get to the playoffs. I still think there's a really bright future for him. Don't forget about him. I think he's kind of in third right now with the 2018 quarterbacks in the trading card world, and I don't think he deserves to be there. I think he deserves to still be a top 10 guy.
I think they got him some more weapons. I think Sammy Watkins is there now. Obviously, Marquise Hollywood Brown.
That's right.
Mark Andrews just got extended. With the issues at running back and the injuries, Lamar Jackson is going to have to air it out. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. Is he ready to take that step as he'll never be a prototypical pocket passer.
Sure.
But if he can throw the ball downfield and they have to play him honestly and they cannot stack the box and wait for him to run,
right,
then he can have an MVP type of season.
Another guy, I'm not going to say he's a sleeper or anything. Justin Herbert didn't make our top 10 list. In fact, none of the 2020 rookies.
We moved on.
We've
moved on.
That's it. That's the.
Hey, if you were in the 2020 draft, you're washed up. You're old news.
If you want a taste of the life of the hobby, Joe Burrow, Tua, Justin Herbert, not on the list. Although I will say, I actually do still think that Justin Herbert, I'm not going to say he's underrated for this year, but I think that if you pull a Justin Herbert card, a big patch auto of Justin Herbert, you should still be thrilled because he, I think, had the 4th best overall QB rating of any rookie in football history. I want to say the only guys ahead of him were Dak Prescott, Robert Griffin, and Russell Wilson, and the guys just behind him, Ben Roethlisberger and Dan Marino. That's pretty good company to be in. I really believe in this guy, and I think that maybe even wait a year or two, see where his rookie cards are, because the prices are going to go down. At the moment that Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones hit the market, their singles hit the market, his prices are going to go down for his rookies, and I think the time to strike is then. Look at maybe at comps for some legendary QBs where their rookie years are at, some of their comparable cards. If Justin Herbert's floating around there, I actually don't think that's a bad investment going forward. I think he's going to be really special. I think he's got that potential still.
I see what you're going with that. I will have to say Burrow is the guy that I think is going to take that next step. And I think when we talk about 2020 quarterbacks, we're going to be talking about Joe Burrow. I think Herbert's going to have a good year. I think Burrow's going to have a great year. Stays healthy. I think he can be an MVP type of quarterback. And Tua's got the big question mark. He had an up and down season last year. He is a winner, though. That's the one thing about Tua. Tua wins football games. Joe Burrow wins football games. I think we were all really into Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert had a great year, but this is the year of Joe Burrow.
Yeah, and he's got the weapons, too. He's got a lot more weapons on that team. I think in the short term, if you are looking maybe for a short-term flip, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I think Tua is a guy that could, of those three, the most likely to go to the playoffs. The Dolphins were just on the outside looking in last year. Maybe that extra game and that extra spot gets them into the playoffs. We'll see. All right, here we go. The moment you've been waiting for. This is our top 10 list. Again, we combine sort of like a point system. Like I said, the scientific method. We're doing things with math here. We're smart guys. We took the top 5 rookie quarterbacks, our top 10 overall, and the top 10 who will have the best long-term value in the hobby. This is what we came up with, starting with picks 10 through 6. At number 10, Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. Number 9, Cleveland Browns Baker Mayfield. At number 8, it's our first of 3 straight rookies, starting with 49ers Trey Lance. At number 7, the new starting quarterback for the New England Patriots, Mac Jones. And at number 6, can't miss number 1 overall pick, Trevor Lawrence of the Jags. All right, 10 through 6. Let's start with the veterans on this list. Number 10, Dak Prescott. This is a guy that you and Doug, Dan, are big on when it comes to sort of the most underrated guys in the hobby. If I'm going to play devil's advocate for a bit, I don't think he's fully proven it yet. He's had one season where he was healthy, and even that had some ups and downs, and I think there was a lot of feeling that he wasn't living up to his potential and just incredible potential in his rookie year. The guy that we saw then, I don't think we've seen that guy since. There were glimpses last year before he got hurt. What is the case for Dak Prescott, though?
He's got the weapons. He has the offensive line, and you'll see it tonight. And you're going to see an upset tonight. They're going to start it off at Tampa Bay, and you're going to see Dak Prescott slanging it out, showing everybody on the biggest stage. You're going to see Dak Prescott. Now, I'm not going to say people are going to be like Tom Brady. Tom Brady's going to have a good game. Dak Prescott's going to go off the hook. He's going to be 3-4 touchdowns. And Dallas is going to show the NFL that they're for real.
there is a real chance here on opening night, and by the time you're watching this, that game will have been settled, but there's a real chance for him to stake his claim, and a real chance, I think, for the Cowboys to take advantage of what is an extremely weak division. You think with a healthy Zeke Elliott and a healthy Dak Prescott, it should be a runaway division winner for the Dallas Cowboys. I know Washington has a good defense, but it should just be Dallas's division to win. It all really lies on the shoulders of Dak Prescott. He's got the talent. He's got the weapons.
From an offensive standpoint, there's very few teams that have the Cowboys type of weapons and depth. If you look at Elliott, one of the best running backs in the league. They have Pollard, who is the backup running back, probably would be starting for a handful of teams in the NFL. Yep. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. The question mark with their team is, are they going to be able to stop anybody? Their defense last year was terrible. Hopefully they don't get bit by the injury bug like a lot of teams are. But if they can just play middle of the pack defense, they should win that division.
Yeah, they should. To all these New York Giants fans who may be watching and saying, what about us? What about Daniel Jones? We see you, we hear you, and we don't agree with you. I'm sorry. It's probably the Cowboys or the Washington football team coming out of this division. Let's also talk about another young quarterback, number 9, Baker Mayfield. Down the stretch last year, Baker Mayfield actually was one of probably the 5 best QBs in football. He has totally arrived. He has fulfilled his potential, almost. I don't want to go too far. Now I sound like I'm really going crazy here. Like, Baker is the guy. He's the real deal.
He is a Hall of Famer.
That's right.
Best to ever do it. But I think of the greatest quarterbacks. It's like Montana, Brady, Baker. No.
But he might as well be in Cleveland right now. Truly like a savior in Cleveland. They win that big playoff game against the Steelers. The future is so incredibly bright for this team and for Baker Mayfield. The first time I've ever been able to say that in my football watching years. I think that Baker Mayfield, of all the guys on this list, has the biggest chance to make a huge leap if indeed the Cleveland Browns can pull off the impossible and win a Super Bowl. He will become a sort of almost like a folk hero in Cleveland. His market alone in Cleveland. Like, if there was ever a national that comes to Cleveland again and they win the Super Bowl, oh my God, Baker cards are just going to be on fire.
You know, I'm happy for the Cleveland fan base when it comes to Cleveland football. Baker is obviously, without question, the franchise quarterback that they've been dying to have. I mean, they thought they had it in Johnny Football. They thought they had it in, I mean, how many guys? How many guys have they gone through? Seneca Wallace,
Tim Couch.
Tim Couch is like he's always the first one.
Brady Quinn.
That
was probably the guy that everybody thought, now it's going to turn around
So Baker, again, I look at the Browns offense, and it has a lot of similarities to the Cowboys. They are loaded. The thing about the Browns, though, is that they have, without a doubt, a better defensive football team.
Excellent defense.
So I love both those teams. But Baker, this is the next step. This is the year where they win that division, and they win it by a couple games.
I think the sky's the limit for him right now, and if he wins the Super Bowl, I mean, it's basically him and LeBron James that will be in the same breath in that city as some of the most beloved athletes.
How about a Browns-Bills AFC Championship game?
Whew, man, you just hope that the earth doesn't just cave in because that was not meant to happen. There's a real chance. Let's talk about the 3 rookies on our list. I know, obviously, if you're opening up products this year, the rookies are the guys you want, and it's a huge rookie class. 3 guys made our list. I know, Dan, you probably take exception to one of these guys, but Trey Lance, Mac Jones, and Trevor Lawrence. Which of those 3 guys do you think by the end of 2021 we are going to think is basically going to be the Justin Herbert of this rookie class.
Well, let's go with the guy who is starting for his team. Two out of the three are starting.
One might be a co-starter.
And really hard to put a rookie quarterback who officially is not the starting quarterback.
Sure.
The Niners came out today and said they are running with Jimmy Garoppolo, and that was basically the consensus. Even here in the Bay Area, everybody was like,
right.
A lot of fans were like, I really would love to see Trey Lance go out there and play, but I think everybody knew that it was going to be Garoppolo.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Garoppolo until if the Niners are 500 come week 4, you may see some rumblings. You may see the first week that you see Trey Lance getting snaps in practice with the first team, then you could start the speculation that it's when is it going to happen, not if it's going to happen.
Right.
But it is Jimmy's team right now, so I can't agree with you guys in putting Trey Lance up there. I know he's got talent. He could be a great quarterback. Maybe he will be a great quarterback. Who knows? But you can't put him on that list right now because he is not starting. Mac Jones is the guy, then Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Well, I will say in defense of Trey Lance, who I had number 2 in my rookie QB ratings, I had Trevor Lawrence number 1. I actually think in a weird way, the Mac Jones news and the Mac Jones announcement that he's going to be the starting QB has sort of overshadowed Trevor Lawrence. Is that fair to say? I don't know. Maybe we're in a different bubble here in the hobby, but I do kind of feel like the Mac Jones hype is getting so loud that we're forgetting that Trevor Lawrence is a once-in-a-generation talent, that scouts have been saying this is a once-in-a-generation guy. And the other guys who were described that way, you've got John Elway, Peyton Manning, and Andrew Luck. Like, that's the list. And obviously Luck retires, but we can assume pretty safely that if he kept playing, he would join those other 2 guys as Hall of Fame level quarterbacks. We're talking about Trevor Lawrence in the same breath. I know he plays in Jacksonville, and he might get beat up a little bit in that first year. Peyton Manning didn't look very good at times in his first rookie year, and things turned out pretty good for him. So I think we're almost forgetting just how good he is in a way. And as for Trey Lance, look, I think I'm basing it almost entirely off of he's playing with a team and in an area that, one, if this team succeeds, when the 49ers do well, they are the number 1 attraction in the Bay Area. I really believe that.
Yeah, that's
much to your.
That is disappointing, but you're right. You're right.
And we've seen it before. We saw Alex Smith obviously got benched when he was the top quarterback according to QB rating. Got benched in the middle of the season for Colin Kaepernick, and they go to the Super Bowl. It can happen. We've seen it happen before, and we know that this is Kyle Shanahan's guy. Jimmy G, as you know, he leads him to the Super Bowl, but he is not Kyle's guy. This is Kyle's guy. Trey Lance, I think he's still going to make enough plays for him that he's going to see the field a lot, and I think there is a real chance that he sees the field this year. And in the future, I think it's pretty safe to say he is going to be the guy going forward. So I know maybe we're a little bit of homers here. Maybe, okay, not a little bit. We're pretty big homers
well,
here,
I mean,
but I still think there's a solid case that he is the second guy, even with Mac Jones starting in New England.
I got a question for you. It's really unrelated, but since you said, the homerism coming out.
Homerism. There you go.
Do you want to see Lance come in and get 4 to 5 plays a game, maybe in the backfield with Garoppolo? Do you want to see that? I mean, doesn't that kind of danger him as the franchise quarterback? I mean, it's one thing to have like a backup quarterback who can run a little bit, and if he gets hurt, it's not the end of the world. But do you really want to put your future, your franchise, in that position where just to get him on the field?
I mean, I guess when you put it that way, I do have some questions, but I think this is such a unique situation where the 49ers legitimately see themselves as playoff contenders and, maybe it's justified or not, as Super Bowl contenders. I think they really do see themselves as that, and if it means the best way to get to that to get to the top of the mountaintop is by throwing in Trey Lance in some interesting schemes, into some plays where you have him line up with Jimmy G, then I guess I'm all for it because it's all about winning. But yeah, there is that risk. Absolutely. It's a unique situation.
I mean, especially that he has a messed up finger.
Right.
I mean, he's not gonna miss any time, but again, like, you don't want him like running a reverse and getting hit by a safety, and you're just like, okay, cool. Like, well, even if he was going to play in 3 weeks, he's in concussion protocol. Now he can't play. Right. So I don't know. Like, if I was a Niner fan, I'd be like, when it's his time, it'll be his time. Don't force the issue and try to get him on the field.
It's definitely going to be, I think, of all of the rookie QB scenarios right now, it's easily the most intriguing. It's been a long time since we've seen anything close to it.
I think the storyline with Trey Lance is intriguing. I think the Justin Fields storyline runs very parallel to the Niners, because Andy Dalton is not the franchise future quarterback of the Bears. It is Justin Fields. And on the other side, the Niners, same exact thing. It's not Garoppolo. Garoppolo is not the future. The future is Trey Lance. So it's just, at what point, and it's in the same situation, right? Andy Dalton, if he is struggling and the team is under 500 come week 4, Justin Fields is going to play. Yeah. And the Niners, you can basically say the same exact thing. With Mac Jones and Trevor Lawrence, it's their spot to lose.
Right.
So.
Right. And we don't even talk about Zach Wilson here, who is going to be starting for the New York Jets. It's that sort of cloud. There's like a gray cloud over you anytime you're on the Jets. And no offense to Jets fans, but until somebody can pull it off, it's going to feel that way. There's going to be that sort of stigma of playing for that Jets franchise that there's just something about it. Robert Saleh's there now, though, which I think definitely changes the tone and changes the mood for fans, and should for Zach Wilson. I know C-Rad vouches for him, says he's going to be one of the top guys. So I think that there's a lot to be said about Zach Wilson as well. And of all these guys, not to use the oft-used phrase, but if you make it there, you make it anywhere. It's New York. If you make it in New York, you're going to be a superstar.
Yeah, I mean, Zach Wilson. It's if the Browns can do it, the Browns can do it. You too, Jets fans. You can get your franchise quarterback as well.
They had a couple of AFC Championship appearances at like 9 and 7 with Mark Sanchez.
Chad Pennington. Yeah, I mean, I like Zach Wilson. I don't know if that team is quite at the Browns level. I mean, they're not the Browns.
No, not yet.
But it's going to be interesting to see the stats between Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, because I kind of put those teams roughly around the same. If you were to do the power rankings, they're probably within five spots of each other. Yeah. So teams that are struggling, they were neither one of those teams was one quarterback away from being a playoff contender.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think of those two, Lawrence is going to be relied on, I think, even more to get that team over the hump, whereas Zach Wilson, I think, with Robert Saleh there, and I think he's going to really install the pieces he wants around him. I don't know if there's as much pressure for him to be the savior, whereas Lawrence, it's like, it's on you, buddy. Obviously, with Urban Meyer, he's got a system that he has in mind that he wants to work with Lawrence, but I think that might be the one difference there. Maybe a little less pressure on Wilson, although he does play in New York.
And you got to look at Saleh. Saleh is coming over to the Jets with a defensive mindset. It's not going to be about airing the ball out. It's going to be about protecting the ball, long drives, and then really having your defense beat up the other team. Yeah. I mean, Saleh's defensive coordinator from the Niners. His defenses were really good. That's how he got the job. Super motivated guy. So I don't think they're going to rely as much on Wilson to carry that team, where the Jags, I think Urban Meyer is going to absolutely rely on Trevor Lawrence
100%.
To carry that team.
100%. Let's move on to our top 5. Let's start with numbers 5 through 2. At number 5, Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen. At number 4, the man who's been under center for the Seahawks for almost a decade, Russell Wilson. At number 3, the GOAT, Tom Brady of the Bucks. And at number 2, the baby GOAT, Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs. All right, a lot of recognizable names in 5 through 2. Might be one really recognizable name here, and maybe it caught you by surprise. Before we get into Josh Allen and Russell Wilson, Tom Brady's number 3 on our list. Dan, you had him ranked far lower than Doug and I on your overall QB ratings. I want to say Doug and I had him in the top 3, top 4. You had him at number 8.
Huh?
Would you like to, or am I wrong? Well, I'm talking about, you got him on long-term value.
Okay.
But I'm talking about your overall ratings
my overall
for this year.
That's where, let me look at this again.
You've got him at number 8. If I'm correct,
I had him at number 9.
Number 9.
Yeah.
Care to explain?
Well, if you listen to the hype yesterday, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hype, I'm not buying.
Right.
And I don't know. And I made a bold statement. I will agree with that. It's a little crazy. But I'm standing by it. I don't know if Tampa Bay makes the playoffs. And this could be it. This could be the end of the road for the great Tom Brady. The best to ever do it. The greatest to ever do it. Not taking anything away.
No.
But Father Time has to catch up at some point. So for this year, staying away from Tom Brady. Now, overall, we'll get to that later.
No doubter.
No doubt. But for this year, not getting on the Tom Brady train.
Yeah. I was, and I do sort of get it. I guess I'm also just at the point now where I am just going to keep ranking him at least in the top 4. Maybe you could get me to say he's the 5th best in football right now, but until I see it, I'm not going to believe it. There was like a brief moment last year where right in the middle of the season where the Bucs were just sort of, I think at one point they were 7-5 or so.
They played the Rams on a Monday night game,
right,
and Tom Brady didn't look like a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah.
It was a struggle. And honestly, you win a Super Bowl, you got that target on your back. Teams that have no business beating you with the talent they have, they pick it up and they play their absolute A game.
Yeah.
They want to prove, even if they're not a playoff team, they want to prove that they can beat last year's Super Bowl champions.
Right.
And it is always difficult to repeat. And I'm just not buying. I'm not buying the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know they got all of their players back. I mean, I think all the starters are back.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
The gang's all here.
So, barring injury, they should be good, but I'm not buying it.
Let's talk a little bit about Josh Allen and Russell Wilson. Both these guys. Josh Allen has vaulted himself into the elite conversation, had an MVP caliber year this last year. Where does Josh Allen go at the end of the year? Is he, at this point, sort of the MVP in waiting? Because all the other guys on our list are the best of the best.
MVP in waiting, and probably one of the consensus to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Everybody is jumping on the Bills. The Bills were a great team last year. Stephon Diggs, absolute elite receiver. He was elite with Minnesota. Goes to Buffalo, just has an absolute monster year. Good defense, balanced attack, and what does Josh Allen not do? The guy is hard to sack. He's elusive. He could run. He could throw the bomb. He has touch. Exciting player to watch. So I would say absolutely he's definitely the leader of the next crop of the Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks.
It's crazy, too, how fast it happened. Because remember, the first time Buffalo gets back to the playoffs with Josh Allen there, what was it? That's 2019 against Houston in one of the ugliest playoff games in recent memory. there was a lot of like, boy, Josh Allen's at least he's giving it his all, man. He's trying. You got to give him credit for that. And to go from that to looking like, again, he's probably, one of the, I think in our list, he was consensus top 5 quarterback. One of the very few to be a consensus top 5. I think only Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, and Aaron Rodgers were the only other guys. To go from that to being in that elite conversation is an incredible turnaround. Russell Wilson, another guy that the only thing he's missing is an MVP. What's the ceiling at this point for Wilson, do you think, in the hobby? Has he kind of just reached the limit? Does he need to? Can he do anything else?
I think he's a good value. I don't think you're gonna make a ton of money by investing right now in Russell Wilson, but you're also not gonna lose any money. It's a really, really, really safe bet. What does Russell Wilson is, at least in the last 5, 6, 7 years, consistency. The thing about Russell Wilson is that every week he is out there. Every week he is putting his team in a position to win a game. And he does it multiple different ways. He'll scramble for a first down. He'll, again, throw a touch. He has a cannon. And Pete Carroll knows how to manage a team with Russell Wilson at the helm.
Yeah. There is this feeling, though, with Wilson as the years are going by, and he's not old. I think he's entering the season at age 32. But there is this feeling I'm getting of is he the next Aaron Rodgers, where you cannot question what you see on the field every week? He is among the top 3, 4, 5 quarterbacks in football every single week. And yet there is the feeling of they're not building the right team around him to get him as far as he can every single year. They've been really close the last few years, basically since that Super Bowl run. They've been really close a few times, but have not been able to finish the job. And it does kind of have that feeling of did the championship window close with Seattle in the early 2010s? Can they regain that? Is he a guy who maybe benefits in terms of just getting another title, benefits from a change of scenery? I am starting to get that sinking feeling of he's going to be a guy who's got one ring. Maybe he gets an MVP, but I'm not really sure anything else after that. As talented as he is.
I think if he basically retires right now, he's a Hall of Famer.
He's easily a Hall of Famer, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, right now with that division having to play all those teams twice, and the Cardinals coming up, it is going to be tough to get out of that division in one piece. Those teams are going to beat each other up. That is the one drawback. Being a Rams fan, I'm not looking forward to playing the Niners twice. I'm not looking forward to playing Seattle twice. I'm not looking forward to playing the Cardinals twice. And you get out of it, what kind of condition are you going to be in as a team?
Yeah, exactly. That division's going to chew you up and spit you out. Maybe for his Super Bowl. We heard the rumors kind of floating around this offseason that maybe he is looking for that change of scenery. Maybe it's the best for him. He could go, because he's the type of guy who goes to a team and instantly makes them.
Yeah, but you also got to look at Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll has obviously benefited by having Russell Wilson as his quarterback, right, but vice versa. Russell Wilson has benefited the consistency of having Pete Carroll as his head coach.
Very true. Very true. All right, last guy we're going to talk about before we get to our number one pick is a guy that I frankly thought was going to be the number one guy. And I think that if you're watching this, is probably the number one guy in your mind, both on the field and in the traded card world, and that's Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes in 5 years. Where is he in 5 years? Can it be even possible that his value in the hobby gets any higher?
It can. It can because he is so young. We're looking at he's a rookie in 2017, so we are going into his 4th professional year. First year he didn't play.
Yeah.
So he sat behind Alex Smith. He did not play. He played 1 game at the end of the year. His first full season, they go to the playoffs, right?
Yep. Made it pretty far.
And then the last 2 seasons, 1 Super Bowl victory, and so he's going into his 5th year.
Yeah.
So, and in one
fourth full season.
Fourth full season. I mean, until somebody knocks off the Kansas City Chiefs, they could very well represent the AFC for the next 4, 5, 6 years, and he is locked in. He is signed an extension with Kansas City for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, lifetime contract, basically.
And somebody has to knock him off, and until that, if he makes 5 Super Bowls in a row, absolutely his prices go up. Because the chances are, if he goes 5 Super Bowls in a row, you can probably sprinkle in an MVP here and there.
Yeah.
So can he be the guy who has the most Super Bowls by the end of his career? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's the speculation with his value is, look what Tom Brady's done. Look what Patrick Mahomes could do. Mm-hmm. Look what he's doing already. So
this might be a bold statement. In fact, it probably is a bold statement. I think there is a world where Mahomes, because I don't think it's a crazy thing to say he's going to win another Super Bowl, and I could see him winning maybe 1, maybe 2 more Super Bowls. But let's just say, for argument's sake, he wins 1 more Super Bowl. Maybe he gets another MVP. But statistically, he starts to break every single record. Now, if that happens, but he doesn't have as many rings as, say, Tom Brady, and again, we're throwing a lot of ifs here, but that's what we like to do. Is there a chance his value goes beyond Brady, or is that pretty much set in stone unless Mahomes wins 5, 6 rings?
I think you need those. Football's weird. I think you, as a quarterback, you need those rings. Not as important in other sports, it seems like, and we talk about it with baseball a lot. Buster Posey doesn't sell, right. 3 championships, a MVP, batting title, everything, right? Doesn't sell. Football's different. Football, the championships are key. You can put up the craziest numbers. It's going to help your value, but you're also going to have to win the big game. You're going to also have to win some Super Bowls. Now, if he has every record and he has 3 Super Bowls and 3 MVPs, I think he surpasses Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I don't think he needs 7 Super Bowls to do it. I think the stats along with the Super Bowls and the personal awards, I think he can surpass Tom Brady.
The fact that we're even talking about it, like, there's a realistic possibility that this can happen. Is that after the era of Tom Brady, and to a lesser extent, having Peyton Manning in that same era, maybe if there is a comparable here, it is that Peyton Manning played 1, 2 Super Bowls, was statistically superior to Tom Brady, and his value pales in comparison.
I mean, yeah, and the reason why I say, you look at Tom Brady's first 5 years, and you look at Patrick Mahomes' first 5 years, and you look at those stats, and the Patrick Mahomes stats will jump off the page.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. It'll be very, very interesting to see. And maybe not playing in the shadow of Tom Brady eventually will also help Patrick Mahomes in the long run.
Maybe. Tom Brady may play until he's 73 years old.
Yeah, God help us all. You probably have already guessed by now. There's a guy we haven't talked about. He is our number 1 pick.
Jared Goff. Didn't make it.
Just missed it. Aaron Rodgers.
The other Cal quarterback.
I'm a little surprised. He ended up, just based off our point system, he was the only guy when it came to overall QBs and long-term investments. I believe he was at least top 2 from everybody. Does he deserve this number 1 spot, though, above Patrick Mahomes and above Tom Brady?
I think with the hobby market, and it definitely went into my rankings, is that for what Aaron Rodgers has done in his career, he is grossly undervalued in the hobby. You can get exquisite RPAs, and essentially that's like the best card you can get from Aaron Rodgers' rookie year. You can get it for $4,000 or $5,000. That was Patrick Mahomes equivalent, or if that was a Tom Brady equivalent, it's a 6-figure card minimum. So I think he's just grossly undervalued for what he's accomplished. I think he is going to have an absolute amazing year. Aaron Rodgers plays better when he's angry and he has a chip on his shoulder. He is angry. There's been a lot of rumors all offseason that he wanted out. He was pissed off that they basically brought in a franchise quarterback where he still thinks that he's got some playing left in the tank. So, and he just came off one of his best years ever.
Yep.
So, grossly undervalued, still performing, and he's angry. That's why I went Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I think that with Rodgers, I think I think what you said, why he is kind of number one on our list is that he is a guy who will go down as probably one of the 5 best quarterbacks to ever play, and yet he's very attainable if you're trying to add him to your collection. I think that he is, like you said, angry and ready to prove a lot of people wrong. For the first time, he's calling the shots. And I think that it would be the most Aaron Rodgers move to win another Super Bowl in Green Bay and go,
I'm out. I'm out.
See you guys.
I'm out, and I'm going to Minnesota.
Really going full
I'm
far.
really going full far.
Going full
I mean,
far.
I actually, without a doubt, he would definitely stay in that division. If he left, he out of spite, he'd be like, "I am staying because I want to play you twice."
Chicago.
I will go. I'll go to Chicago. I didn't say Chicago.
Detroit. Just go crazy. Really prove how good you are. Go to Detroit.
They already got a guy from Cal there.
They got Goff. They got our one. They had our 1B.
I think Goff would be okay with backing up Aaron Rodgers.
You think so? After everything he's been through, going, oh great. Now there's this guy. I have to deal with him. I'm a little surprised that Aaron Rodgers made it, but the more we talk about it, again, statistically has been maybe the best of all the guys we talked about.
And again, you talked about it before. Very easily could have represented the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Was basically a play away from a showdown with Tom Brady. And boy, how the narrative would have changed if they went in and beat Patrick Mahomes. And suddenly we're thinking, boy, Aaron Rodgers not looking too old right now. Looking pretty good. That didn't happen, but I think there's a really
it's crazy. At no point, watching Aaron Rodgers play, at no point I've ever actually thought, like, man, he's been playing for a long time, and he's definitely lost a step.
He's not.
I've never said that. Now, I've said that about Tom Brady. I think everybody said that about Tom Brady.
Right.
Tom Brady has a couple bad drives, and you see him kind of trying to get away from defensive linemen, and
there's been some lean years in the middle here.
I mean, his age shows sometimes. You'll be watching a Tom Brady game, and you're like, yeah, I could see he's got a little mileage there. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, you don't get that. He's still like elusive. He's still like has that pocket presence. He knows when the pressure's coming, and he'll take hits. He bounces right back up.
When Rodgers goes to a new team next year, is there going to be like a mad rush, sort of like we saw with Brady and anything that had him in a Bucs uniform? We're going to see the same sort of thing happen in the hobby where everyone's like, I got to get that Aaron Rodgers in his blank
People
uniform
have never, in the hobby, they've never viewed Aaron Rodgers on that same level as a Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady. You could even look at different sports. LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Steph Curry. The hobby has never latched on to Aaron Rodgers like that. It blows my mind. I don't have a reason for it, but it's just always been the case.
So basically, Rodgers win a Super Bowl, justify us making you the number one QB on our list. Also, you don't need to win a Super Bowl, too. It could be the Niners winning the Super Bowl. It's fine, too. So don't worry about it. Or come to the Niners and win a Super Bowl. That's also totally fine.
He goes to the Niners. That takes him off that list for me.
That's going to do it for our top 10 list. Let us know who's in your top 10 list for 2021. Are we absolutely crazy for putting Aaron Rodgers in the top 10? Did we miss one of the rookie QBs? Let us know in the comments below. And of course, like this video and subscribe to Mojobreak Media for much, much more all throughout the NFL season. See you guys.